Hi everyone and welcome to this chapter, which is a really important one because it focuses on handling real data. In the upcoming sections, you'll discover how to get data from a database and also how to send data using Entity Framework, which is a vital tool for .NET development. Before we dive deeper, let us understand what Entity Framework is and why it's beneficial. Entity Framework, or EF, serves as a bridge between your object-oriented C# code and the database. Instead of manually writing SQL queries, you can use C# to interact with your database. Entity Framework will take care of translating your C# code into SQL queries, simplifying database management. There are multiple reasons why you should be using Entity Framework in your .NET applications, but the key 4 reasons are that Entity Framework does reduce the amount of code that you need to write as it generates the SQL queries for you. Your database tables and columns are represented as C# classes and properties, providing compile time checking. You also can define your database schema directly in your code, making development more agile. And also, Entity Framework supports migrations, which allow you to update your database schema as your application evolves. Now, starting with the next part, you are going to hear about the Entity Framework a lot because you'll learn how to set it up and also how to use for all the database-related actions. But there are some core concepts that you need to know. DB context is the most important class in Entity Framework because it does represent a session with the database, which enables data querying and saving. You can think of the DB context as the heart of the Entity Framework. DB set is another concept which represents a collection of entities of a specific type similar to a database table. And the last concept is link or link queries, which stands for language integrated query. And Entity Framework does use link to interact with the database, enabling you to write queries using the C# syntax. Now, this is enough theory. What's important is what you are going to learn in the upcoming parts. And you are going to start by setting up the Entity Framework in a .NET application, which means installing all the necessary packages. Then next, you are going to define the models. And models are basically just C# classes that represent the database tables. You are going to create the DB context, which is used to connect the models with the database. Then you learn how to create and apply migrations to update the database schema. And then throughout this course, you'll learn how to use Entity Framework to perform different operations in the database. So as you can see, the Entity Framework does simplify data manipulation in .NET applications, streamlining database interactions with C#. This is enough theory. In the upcoming parts, you'll learn how to use Entity Framework. So, see you on the next ones.